Happy Tears Day from Winter Sun, Oxfordshire. Now, as videos go, this is probably a little bit of a filler in some respects. I stabbed my hand yesterday. That's a bit sore. It doesn't really look like much now, but this is the the carnage that I've added to my Jord carving that I'm working on at the moment. That bled a lot. All in all, the past 24 hours has been, I don't know, kind of spiritual in ways that might have missed or not. I don't know. If I hadn't, stopped to pay attention. We had a small gathering last night to celebrate winter nights, and that was pleasant. We discussed some things and said our thanks to various gods that sort of we felt needed thanking, and obviously ancestors and the land whites. My drive to Oxfordshire this morning has been an interesting journey. Like last week, I've had a close encounter with an animal, this time a lot more closer than the stag. I was driving through what is pretty much pheasant country, so I was being cautious because, I'd seen a couple of dead pheasants on the road. And a few minutes later, again from the left-hand side, this pheasant come flying out of the woods, very close to the windscreen of the van, so that I had to dramatically slow down, in the hopes of not hitting it. And I did not hit it. The pheasant sort of turned to sort of fly, sort of almost in parallel with the van for a second or two, a couple of seconds to probably go, I'm not dead. For a split second, I thought, how long am I going to have to drive at 5 miles an hour while this pheasant sort of decides where it wants to go? But a couple of seconds of slow driving as this pheasant was flapping for dear life, and then it decided sensibly to turn left again and go back into the hedgerow, and disaster averted. The interesting thing is obviously for those brief seconds we were travelling in tandem, I got, I suppose you can joke, an arse end view of the pheasant flying, but it was also sort of seeing its wings span and flapping desperately. Was in some respects quite an insight, and again it's one of those moments where, while I did have someone behind me who's probably, I don't know, maybe a little bit frustrated or wondering why I'd slowed down so much, just sort of remind you that we live in a world alongside the wildlife, the creatures. We are one of the creatures. We are one of the creations of the land, and it's worth remembering that. In addition, after this, and once it's got sort of part through this wooded area, come to an expanse of Oxford countryside. And the thing that really struck me is, let's say, it was quite panoramic. But more importantly, it was a panoramic view of farming countryside that has now sort of brought in the harvest. And to see that was quite special. I enjoyed sort of the next 10 minutes of driving through this countryside and seeing that. A strange sort of conjunction of sort of being in a modern vehicle driving through this beautiful landscape. Say temperature's a bit lower today than it has been, even though the sun's shining. It's like winter is sort of knocking on the door now. It's pleasant. And listening to some good music sort of playing through the stereo. I was listening to Ivor, like a mix from YouTube. So it's a combination of things just to make it a really special ambience driving through the English countryside. It's something to value. Like I said, probably a little bit of a filler video, but there we go. It's just that breathing in and experiencing your land, your environment, and feeling it. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble. Do take care. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.